Gurudev children. So today we are going to start a new chapter, cell cycle and cell division. So in this chapter we are going to study how a cell multiply. So during this process, now many changes occur in the nucleus. So before starting that part, first let us discuss few things which all of you should know. Now, so those are, first thing is that if it is a living being, all are made up of cell or cells. That means they may be unicellular or multicellular. Then another point which you have to remember is that when we talk about cell, always in our mind it comes that the shape of the cell is round. But that is not true. The shape may differ based on their on their function. Like you all know the structure of neuron or the nerve cell. So their structure is not circular. So beside this, another thing you have to remember is that when we talk about cell, it consists of the plasma membrane, protoplasm, nucleus. Beside this, many other organelles are there. But we are not going to discuss about other organelle. Only we are going to study little bits about the hereditary material which are located in the nucleus. So now just to explain this, here just the rough diagram I have drawn. Here you just see, now this one is the cell. Inside this round structure is the nucleus, and inside it some elongated structures are there which is termed as hereditary material. Now this hereditary material, sometimes it is known as chromatin, sometimes it is known as chromosome. And hereditary materials means what? The materials which are transferred to their offspring from their parents, or you can say the characters, means it contains certain characters which are transferred from one generation to the next generation. And here sometimes this hereditary material, it is termed as chromatin, and actually chromatin and chromosome are the same thing. But it is termed as chromatin when they are not undergoing cell division. And at that time the structures are not so distinct. It is some invisible elongated thread-like structures. But when they are ready for cell division, this chromatin, it gets changed to the chromosome. So, and the chromosome, the structure, this is the structure. So it consists of what? It consists of two thread-like structures known as chromatid. They meet at a particular point. One primary constriction is there which is known as centromere. So that means this chromosome, it helps in the cell division, or when the cell is ready for cell division, the hereditary materials, they are termed as chromosome. So children, one thing you should remember, chromatin and chromosome are same thing, and chemically they are known as the DNA. So those things later on we will study, but mainly we have to know what is chromosome. Now sometimes even you will come across another term, that is the daughter chromosome. Now daughter chromosome, actually it's nothing, it's a chromosome having only one chromatids. When they have one chromatid, it is known as daughter chromatid. So these things you have to remember means in this chapter. So this much. Now as we are going to study about the cell cycle, now here certain things you have to remember. So just to show it, now here rough diagram I have drawn. Now first of all, as the chapter is termed as cell cycle, what does cell cycle mean? Cell cycle means the time when a particular cell is formed, then until it is divided into two cycles, this whole time period or this whole sequence, it is termed as the cell cycle. That means when it's the cell cycle, it starts as soon as a cell is formed. But when a cell is formed, at that moment the cell is not ready for cell division. It has to undergo many changes. Just like in human being, you just take the example of human being. Now when a baby is born, at that time baby is not capable of giving birth. It has to undergo many changes. So that means similarly, when a cell is formed, at that time they are not ready. They have to prepare themselves to undergo the cell division. So that preparation time, it is shown by this bigger cellular structure, and this is known as the interphase. So that means interphase is one phase of the or one part of the cell cycle where the cell prepare themselves to undergo cell division. And after completing the interphase only, the means cell division it takes place, or that single cell it will be divided into two cells, and this whole thing together it is known as cell cycle. So I think now little bit idea you have got. And another thing, or simply you can remember, cell cycle means what? It has two phases. One is the interphase and the other one is the M phase. M phase means the cell division phase, which is of two types. It may be mitosis or it may be meiosis cell division. Now what happened in the interphase? So just I have told that interphase means what? Means at this phase means when a cell is formed, this cell undergo many changes, and according to the changes or the modification which is taking place or the preparation which is taking place to undergo cell division, further it can be divided into three stages. So those are your G1 phase, S1 phase and G2 phase. Now here G1 phase, it is also known as the gap 1 phase or the growth phase. So in this phase what happened? Simply the cell increase its size. So only the growth takes place. And another thing you can say that it prepare themselves to undergo duplication of the DNA. Now then the second phase is the S1 phase, or S phase also you can say, that is the synthesis phase. And during this phase one important thing happened, that is the DNA replication. Now here, now the question arises, what is DNA replication? It's not so simple, but here only with two diagrams simply I have explained. Later on in class 12 you are going to study in detail what the DNA replication. So now you just remember, DNA replication means the doubling of the hereditary material. So here you just see, now one more thing, at this stage the chromosome, it is known as chromatin. They are not undergoing cell division. So here what happened, you just see, here I have shown only two chromosomes, two chromatin. They are having only one thread-like structures. So this one thread-like structures, here you see it has become double, means the pairing has taken place. So this pairing when it takes place, that means the duplication of DNA takes place. And that only it takes place only in the synthesis phase. So this is one important characters of the cell division. So that, and one more thing you have to remember here, you just see this cell is having only two chromosomes. Even after DNA replication also they are having two chromosomes. Number of chromosomes remains the same. Only thing is that one chromatin which they were having only one thread like structures, now they are having in pair 2, but the number is 2. Chromosome number is 2, but the pairing has taken place, and this is known as the DNA replication. Then again the third phase is the growth phase, or the another one, it is also known as gap 2 phase. Now in this phase further the growth of the cell takes place. Now here again the growth takes place. Beside this, it also prepare themselves to undergo the next phase, that is the cell division phase, for which they need energy. So they prepare themselves to undergo the cell division. So that means what? Usually in an interphase, means a particular cell, they are having these three phase, that is G1, S and G2 phase. But here another one I have written, that is G0 phase, and here just simply I have written if no cell division takes place. Now here some exceptions are there, that always whatever the cells are formed, they never undergo multiplication. In them the cell division may not take place, which may be permanently that process may stop, or temporarily it may stop. So when the cell is not undergoing cell division, in that case when a cell is formed, this cell will not enter G1 phase, but it will remain in the G0 phase. That means G0 phase means what? At that moment the cell is not capable of undergoing cell division. So in that character they are non-functional, but they are functional in other activities. So just to explain that, here in your book also you are having this diagram. You just see the cell cycle, it is shown by this circle. Here you just see, here I have drawn just single cell. That means when a cell is formed, at once it will enter G0 phase. So in G0 only the growth will take place. After that it will go to S phase, and in S phase duplication of DNA. That means single chromatin will become double chromatin, but the number of chromatin will remain same. If it is 2, they are having 2. And one more thing you all have to remember, that chromosome numbers differs in different species or in different individual. Like human being, their number of chromosome will differ with that of a cow. And soon after S phase, it will enter G2 phase. And once when they have completed this G2 phase, that means what? The whole interphase period has been over. Now they will enter into the cell division. And cell division, here it is written by M phase. M phase means what? Two types of cell divisions are explained in your book. Mainly these two are there. That is the mitosis and meiosis. And accordingly, it may take place mitosis cell division, or it may take place meiosis. And ultimately, from one cell, they are going to give rise to two cells. But some difference are there between mitosis and meiosis, which gradually we are going to study. But by chance, the cell which is formed will not undergo cell division. In that case, instead of entering G1 phase, it will enter into G0 phase. And in G0 phase, it will remain. And here what happened? They are inactive in cell division, but are active in all other function, which may be the permanent solution, or sometimes if they have stopped this cell division temporarily. So during that temporary period, they will be in G0 phase. But when they think that now they have to undergo cell division, again from G0 phase, they will enter the G1 phase. And from G1 as G2 and ultimately M phase. So that means, children, what? In a cell cycle, means if the cell, if it has to undergo cell division, first it has to complete the interphase and then the M phase. But if they doesn't undergo cell division, then they will remain in G0 phase and they are inactive in cell division, but they are active in other process. So for today's only this much. Next class we will study about what does M phase mean. So just two things you remember. One is that cell cycle means what? It has two phase, interphase, that is the non-dividing phase, or you can say the preparation phase. Just like, say for example, at home you have come to know that some guest will come. So your parents, what they will do? First they will do some preparation. So similarly, if for the cell division or for the cell division first the preparation is necessary, and that preparation takes place in the interphase. And that either G means there 3 stages are there. After completing this stage, they will enter the M phase. And this M phase means cell division phase, which based on the type of cell, it may be mitosis or it may be meiosis. So this much you just go through it. Then, and mainly just you go through, and tomorrow again we will discuss about it. Thank you. Jai Gurudev.